the team with the uptick, the trendy pick, you would label them. Tennessee appears to be that team this offseason. Yeah. Easy to see why, Brock.
Well, I think we started to feel that last year, and you could look at the recruiting classes that Butch put together, and you knew they just needed that game to turn it, and it was really South Carolina. And once they got that win, to win 4 or 5 down the stretch, to be dominant in the bowl game. Now, cynics will say, why all the bowl games? Does it really matter? Yes, it does, because in this building yesterday, you heard again and again momentum. The momentum that was built at the close of the season, the momentum that was built off that bowl game, and the momentum, frankly, that they want to continue with a really good, efficient effort this afternoon.
And momentum with their quarterback as well. An injury opened up the door for that guy, Josh Dobbs. And he grew quickly on the field as a real gamer, was 4-1 as the starter down the stretch of last year.
And for the first time, Butch has his guy under center, and you just sleep better as a coach. Everybody in this building feels better, and you started to see him grow in confidence. The elusiveness, it's always been there. That's what he brought into this program. It's why he was able to play as a true freshman, to improvise within the game call as well. Critical to make plays. And then this is the most important, and this is what Butch is calling the CEO. That's what he wants that position to be. That leadership, when you walk into a room, you turn heads. You own everything. And new offensive coordinator Mike DeBoard loves it as well.
Yeah, Mike DeBoard, a proven veteran, long relationship with Butch Jones. That was the one unexpected change of the offseason.
That's right. Mike Bajakian leaves for the NFL, and in steps DeBoard. And talk about energy. He's ready for today as well. He's up in the booth next to us, excited to call plays today. Excited to see not just Dobbs, but his true freshman quarterbacks as well.
Mike DeBoard was once Butch Jones' boss. That's when Butch was an up-and-coming assistant. He had some stints in the NFL, and then most recently was with the Michigan Wolverines, not as one of the assistant coaches, but more of a football operations position. So he's happy to get back to coaching. And even though it's a spring game, you can imagine the nerves of these fans and this fan base wanting to see his offense. Of course, Butch is in his 3rd year guiding one of college football's ultimate power programs, and he's with our Maria Taylor. Good afternoon, Maria.
Good afternoon, Tess and Coach Jones. You're here for another spring game. You have a new offensive coordinator, and your quarterback's getting used and taking ownership of that position. How has your offense evolved over the spring?
Well, it continues to evolve. Now, we won't do a whole lot today. We're really going to focus on execution, the fine details of what it takes to play winning football. But Josh Dobbs, we challenged him all spring to be a CEO quarterback, and he's been able to do that.
You have a very unique format. You do one-on-one drills. What made you add that to your spring game scrimmage?
Well, again, we want to see how our players compete. We're still a relatively very young football team. So to be able to compete in this environment, there's only one Tennessee, and our fans enjoy that as well.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
You're going to hear that line a lot when you hang around Tennessee, that CEO quarterback label that has been put on Joshua Dobbs, a 6'3" junior quarterback from Georgia. Interesting format that we will be using today for the orange and white game. Not always traditional football with these spring games. We will have running clocks of 15 and 12 minutes split up into first and second quarters, and then the second half with a 12-minute running clock. And then 5 drills that'll get everybody's attention, including one of our favorites. The circle drill, here they call it the circle of life.
It's fantastic. And these players have done it all spring long, but now they get to do it in front of a whole audience. They can't wait to watch them get after it. And the scoring will be a little unique today, and that's because a lot of these programs around college football, you got beat up football players. You got 13 guys out today for Tennessee, so you can't go 1s and 2s and 3s like you did back in the day with 110 scholarships. So because of that, yeah, you're going to improvise in the scoring. Just follow along. Trust us. We'll keep track and tabs for you. But that offense and defense, 1s versus 2s, going at it all afternoon.
Look at the smile on the face of the newly hired men's basketball coach here at Rocky Top. Rick Barnes is with the orange team today. That is the defensive side of things. He's used to being on court side, but I don't know, headsets on the sideline. And all day long, we have Butch Jones wired up.
We need the orange team out here for Circle of Life. Matchup freshman, Shy Tuttle, Chance Hall.
Shy Tuttle on the right is one of the most talked about true freshmen in college football against Chance Hall. As Hall was able to turn him, but it gets the crowd's reaction.
It's kind of like sumo wrestling a little bit. It's all about leverage. It's all about power in that pad level. Just a drill that's been around a long, long time. The old school football vets watching this, they've seen it. They performed it back in the day.
There's Kendall Vickers getting driven into the ground by offensive lineman Austin Sanders. And you can see, hey, listen, they want to win. Each and every drill here is worth 1 point in this alternate scoring system here in the spring game.
Well, that's offense 2-0, an offensive line that's one of the biggest emergencies this spring.
Number 66 in the white is big Jack Jones, a much heralded freshman going up against Andrew Butcher. Look at this battle, Brock. Oh, he took his helmet right off, did Jones. They're getting after it, Jones and Butcher. Look at Jack Jones. He's got a little nasty in him, does the true freshman.
But look at the pad level of both of them. That's not ideal. You're going to see the veteran guys, pad level and that leverage a lot lower to the ground.
Here's Charles Mosley and Bryant Kendrick. I'll tell you, it may be an unconventional way to start a spring game, but I like it. Let's go. Circle of life drill here with Tennessee. Had a lot of offensive line, defensive line. And now we're going to have tight end and linebacker as A.J. Brandisell and Gavin Bryant go head-to-head.
I think pretty even. I think the first two the offense got. I think the next two the defense got. And that's probably exactly what the coaching staff is looking for.
Kelly Jr. and Evan Bell.
And here come a couple of skill guys as well. Not just the big fellas that got to play with pad level. Everybody on that football field.
Todd Kelly Jr. Real bright spot and being the future of this program. And Evan Berry.
In competition right there, you're looking at two rising sophomores. Both got their feet wet a year ago. Kelly with 3 starts. Love that competition.
They're ready to go. We're going to play some ball when we come back. Jack Jones and the boys got everybody fired up. Let's get after those helmets. The Young Bucks ready for ball, and we are too when we return to Neyland. 3-3 score here after the circle of life got us started in the orange and white spring game. 13 players injured and not playing, and also missing today is Von Pearson. Tennessee suspended the senior wide receiver from all team activities on Friday while police investigate a rape allegation in which he was named a suspect. No charges have been filed. Pearson, of course, a very big piece of the offensive puzzle for Tennessee.
Second leading receiver, actually led the Vols in touchdown receptions. Had a very nice spring. This receiving crew has been beat up throughout the entirety of this spring, and a lot of guys getting a lot more work, and will do so more today.
Will not be live on special teams returns here. So the first quarter will have a 15-minute running clock.
Efficiency. That's what Mike DeBoard wants to see out of his ones today. He wants to see completions. He wants that ball moving, and you could see it right from the gate. Tempo, tempo, tempo. Can't play fast enough for the first-year offensive coordinator.
Alvin Kamara, the transfer from junior college, who started his career with Alabama in the backfield with Joshua Dobbs. And Dobbs going to take a shot down the near sideline, incomplete, looking for Pig Howard, the senior receiver. So there is Dobbs, who played in 6 games, started the last 5 of the season. Remember, was thrown into action against Alabama. Who knows what would have happened if there wasn't an injury that allowed for that.
Hoping to redshirt him, could not do it. Hoping to keep him healthy all season long because lots of inexperience behind him.
Kamara now with a good-looking run. He's been dealing with a bruised thigh, missed some time in spring. Originally started his career with Nick Saban in Alabama, and they like what he brings, Brock.
Fair to say he's been the talk of the spring. Practice 1 through 14. He has quickness, his elusiveness, and they are so thrilled to pair him with the size and strength of Jalen Hurd.
Dobbs out of the gun with Kamara. And This time he was wrapped up by Demaria Mixon. Mixon, a 270-pound sophomore from California.
We referenced those 13 guys out. No position group hit harder with the injury bug than that defensive line today. So ample opportunities for backups and lots of starters not suited up today.
There's Dobbs. Downfield, crossing route incomplete as he was trying to find Ethan Wolf, the sophomore tight end.
And that's a little bit of where Ethan's going to grow this year. He's going to get opportunities within this scheme, and Mike DeBoer likes tight ends, and Ethan is a true freshman last year, started 11 games, but the ability to win in one-on-one situations, and the coordinator wanted completions, and so far 0 for 2 down the field.
He stays in now on 3rd and 7, 11 personnel with Dobbs out of the gun. Rush up the middle. Able to escape that. Slings it downfield on the run and is complete down there. The 15-yard line. Jonathan Johnson, who's been very consistent this spring.
And there's the elusiveness we highlighted in the open of our show for a reason. Not a good job up front. A stunt gets home, but there's the elusiveness in the eyes downfield of Dobbs to make the big play.
Dobbs now on the run. And remember, he's wearing that smoky gray no contact jersey, so they will mark him down. As Brian Randolph came in to play Dobbs, he was marked down at about the 8-yard line. You can see the tempo now being put forth. Kamara still the running back with Dobbs. Reads it again, keeps it. And we'll see, will they whistle him here as contact was made prior to the goal line, maybe just inside the 2. But you can see the versatility of Joshua Dobbs early here.
You see in the system as well, they're making Mike DeBoer learn the language. They're not changing the vocabulary. They're not changing the playbook. Year 3, Butch wanted the consistency with that. So that quarterback run a big part of Dobbs' game a year ago, and it will be this fall.
Stockstill comes in as an H-back here with Wolf lined up tight end right side. Kamara with that extra blocking on the inside scores. So a good start for the white team as the offense comes right down the field. Dobbs a long completion to Johnson, a couple quarterback runs, and Kamara finishes it off.
What a nice compliment, as I said earlier, he's going to be with Jalen. Jalen, the freshman a year ago, nearly 900 yards rushing, 6'3", 230. Been limited this spring with a shoulder, giving Kamara plenty of opportunities, and they love his quickness, his speed, and then that zone read paired with Dobbs. That's going to be a dangerous combination.
No live rush on special teams as Aaron Medley puts in the extra point. Alvin Kamara in a Vols uniform now doing his thing as Josh Dobbs continues with his hot hand. And Maria Taylor with you here at Neyland Stadium. The white team representing the offense with a touchdown drive and a 12-3 lead. Unconventional scoring we're using today here with various points given out based on length of play, regular scoring, and what the defense can accomplish. But Joshua Dobbs brought his team down the field, and Alvin Kamara scored on a short touchdown run. As George Bullock will get some time kicking off here as they are not going live on special teams. Bullock is the backup place kicker. Aaron Medley got the game started and also had the PAT.
I wonder if this is harder, kind of like a free throw with nobody on the line.
Yeah,
I wonder if this is a little awkward for these kickers.
Here's Bullock as he hurdles through it and sends it 5 yards deep into the end zone. Well, today gives us an opportunity to really examine some of the depth and some of the unit groups, and we already saw Dobbs out there. The good news is Dobbs is one of the elite emerging quarterbacks in the SEC. The bad news is he better stay healthy because they are youngins behind him.
Yeah, you want to talk about depth. This is the most challenged depth in college football. You're talking about one guy in Dobbs that has experience, and the rest are all these kids should still be in high school right now.
This is Jason Sparks on the carry. Number 12 in that smoky gray non-contact jersey is Quinton Dormady, a 6'4" true freshman from Texas, son of a coach, a 4-star prospect, and right now he's the number 2, Brock.
And right now everything has been thrown on his shoulders, and he's swimming. There's no doubt about that, but he's handling it awfully well.
Here's his first throw of the day, and he gets it complete on a crossing route as he's able to find Josh Malone.
I can't tell you how good that feels for a kid, as I said, who should be getting ready for senior prom, but instead has spent 3 months here. And look at him getting this tempo going right away. Playing fast will be part of the real challenge for him. Not in a hurry, but play fast and under control, and a good start with the completion.
First down run here by Sparks. Sparks a 5'8" sophomore. Dormity's completion moments ago.
And you love seeing this. A very simple read, just 1-2 in the flat and the over, and lots of air, lots of space. And he puts it right on the money to Malone.
Able to just get it over the outstretched arm of Dylan Bates. Second and 4. Sparks is wrapped up. It'll be third and about 2. But for Dormity, this is a young man who comes here as an early enrollee, and we've been talking about it. The pressure of playing in front of this kind of crowd, the expectations here, and then knowing you have to return back to Texas to walk for your high school graduation in June.
And knowing you're one snap away in a system that's had their quarterbacks beat up the last 2 years.
For such a young offensive line last year that caused so many issues in protecting the passer. Third and 3, and a nice look that time to Pig Howard. So a good start for Quentin Dormity.
And what was really good there, that's just a little simple slant route. Butch told Maria before the game, we're going to keep it simple today, but it's easy to panic sometimes. And look at him, he keeps the front shoulder down. That's a second hitch throw there. He doesn't panic, the ball doesn't flutter. 2 for 2 right on the money for Dormity.
First down inside the 30. They run a counter that Sparks then takes the opposite direction, but he couldn't turn the corner that time as he was trying to get past Stephen Griffin, who made the tackle. Another true freshman. He's from Charlotte.
And Sparks, a walk-on, not a lot of depth at that running back position behind Hurd or Camara either. But I just love the pace. Look at this. This is a true freshman coming in here and owning this drive right now in complete command is Dormity.
Second and 8, and Camara gets some more work. See his ability to get out of trouble. Evan Berry with the tackle.
Don't you see the pad level? That is just so obvious. Something that Coach Gillespie, the running back coach, said from day one, pads on or not, just his ability to slide and keep those pads down. And at 210 pounds, he'll shed some tackles as well.
Had 18 touchdowns last year at Hutchinson Community College. That was his stop after leaving Alabama. They're down in 2, and he picks up the first down at the 18-yard line. New offensive coordinator, and defense has the ability to react. So typically you see defense often ahead of offense in a spot like that, but a good start so far for the Tennessee offense today. Sparks this time as he wiggled his way to the 14-yard line.
Joe, I think you're 100% spot on, but this defense can be really challenged because of so many of those injuries up front. Well, a lot of secondary players are going today. When your defensive line is as beat up as the Vols are, as many guys sitting, you can see that push right at the point of attack has been all on the offensive side.
Second and 6, Dormity. That had no chance as Branisel was taken down by Evan Berry.
Same play, first completion, and I told you it's a pretty simple read in the flat and the over route. And that time the youngster Dormity just looking for a completion in the flat, but look at the second option here. If he's able to get off his first read, he's got a touchdown to the crosser.
Third down and 8. Early enrollee, Quentin Dormity. And nearly intercepted as he was looking to check down, and Colton Jumper ended up being the defender there. So it'll be 4th down as the offense stalls out at the 16.
Trying to get to his outlet and trying to get to that check down, and very fortunate there was Dormity. The ball bounces off the linebacker. But all in all, a pretty good drive. Anytime you can get your team down in the position to put some points on the board. And I bet the heart rate will calm down just a little on that second drive.
Aaron Medley, 33-yard attempt. And it is no good. Came across and went over to the left. We told you, and especially on the defensive line, many contributing players here on Tennessee out of action today. 13 in total, most notably Number 9, Derek Barnett, one of the very best defensive ends in all of college football.
Yeah, you're looking at a kid that came on and was on everybody's freshman All-American team, was in fact second team All-SEC, period. Shattered every record, shattered the tackles for loss, and the sack record actually doubled what was on the books previously. And they knew they had a man-child. About 6 practices in, John Jancic said to us yesterday that he was a difference maker. And he's done nothing but helped himself this offseason, and big things ahead for the rising sophomore.
All those absentees has made for an interesting spring, Maria.
They had to get a little creative with Tennessee's spring practices. Coach said he started having the injured players being effort coaches. So Derek Barnett would match up with Shy Tuttle and coach him through certain effort and energy issues that you might have throughout practice. But one thing that Coach Jones did say was they made it through spring practices without anyone getting injured. In fact, 95% of his roster made it through. Everyone else was injured going into the spring, and that's how they ended up with those 13 players that cannot play today, guys.
Thanks, Maria. Josh Dobbs, as they went with a jet sweep option. He took it right up the middle.
There's a good look at Coach Jancic trying to eliminate the big plays. That's what he wants to see. Make these number 1s earn it. Gave up the one big play that led to the scoring drive, and John's done such a nice job with that defense over the last couple years. You see every one of their numbers, scoring, yards, red zone, turnovers, all improving under his leadership.
An inside screen this time. And once again, it's Jonathan Johnson.
Jonathan, one of those seniors, been in the program for 3 years, Blend Junior College, and these receivers have been beat up as well. Very little work for North and Kroom. It's been a lot of reps for a lot of the youngsters, and Johnson taking advantage.
Trying to quickly get it to the outside. And that was an effort just to hold on from Jay Rochelle as Emmanuel Mosley came up to defense the play.
You'd like to get that one down, and one of the points of emphasis with Mike DeBoard with Dobbs is finishing every single throw, getting your weight through that throw, because when he misses, it is often high and away.
Dobbs right on the money that time to Pig Howard. That could be a really nice combination come this fall in the SEC.
Yeah, Pig does a nice job of using his body here, and there's a difference. So watch Dobbs weight transfer. He gets through it, gives Pig an opportunity, and right before the reception, using his body, Pig does going into the defender to create the separation.
Camara now inside the 30.
And just in awareness, knowing where Mosley is. Mosley's going to be the number 2 corner opposite of Sutton this year. He is going to get picked on a little bit. And Pig, a ton of work here, coming in as a senior, one of those voices, one of those leadership guys, leading by example.
Camara again, this time taken down by Jalen Reeves-Maben. Jalen Reeves-Maben is one of the real uptick stories of this program. He was originally a safety, put on 25 pounds, had an outstanding year last year with over 100 tackles to tie for the team lead.
Linebacker coach Tommy Thigpen says he is the smartest guy in the room, and you love to have that at the second level of your defense.
3rd down and 6. Dobbs. Pressure came after him. They can't touch him with that smoke gray jersey, and they're going to rule that a sack at the 38-yard line. So that'll be 1 point for the defense.
That was Reeves-Maben there. 3rd down's a point of strength a season ago for Tennessee. 14th in America on 3rd down, because Jancic has some good defense coordinator, has some good blitz packages that he likes to incorporate in passing situations. And you see some of the speed and quickness of Reeves-Maben getting home.
A 55-yard attempt now. And great rotation to make the distance. Aaron Medley had a long of 46 last year, and showing off the leg talent here with a 55-yarder.
That's been one of the points of emphasis for him, hasn't it, Joe? Is he was so good 40 and in, 19 to 20, but 1 of 6 from 40 plus, and he just drills this.
And he didn't overkick it. He stayed with his form. Look at that trajectory and rotation, as he was smooth as could be and just trusted in himself and put it right through. You know, every spring game has a prize at the end of it, Brock, and this is one of the most unique here at Tennessee. because the winner's going to eat off of fine china and silverware and get themselves a little surf and turf, or maybe a cornbread stuffed chicken, but beans and weenies and SpaghettiOs for the losers. Let me tell you something. I know which dinner we're having tonight.
Yes, and for college kids, that matters a whole bunch.
Sure does.
That is these guys, and especially in this conference, the facilities, the food, I mean, the amenities are off the charts. But yeah, a little extra motivation, because that steak tastes a whole lot better than hot dogs.
17-9 is our score.
And here's your other true freshman, Juwan Jennings, now getting his opportunity. You watch Quentin Dormady drive the ball down the field. Juwan, as I said, an early enrollee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 6'4", 200 pounds, and a tremendous athlete.
And he's going to run the ball in his spring game debut. And there wasn't much there. Maria.
So one thing that Butch Jones says, as soon as Juwan Jennings takes the quarterback position, he runs over to the defense guys and says, the quarterback is live, get after him. He's trying to birth by fire here in the spring game for Jennings.
Juwan Jennings was recruited by many schools as an all-around athlete. Here's Jason Sparks. There was pursuit down the line, and Sparks had to manage his way back to 39. But Jennings, one of these guys that a lot of schools said could have been a wide receiver, could have been a defensive back.
Yeah, and I think that's reflective of two things. I think Butch wants his defense to get some work against a really talented, dynamic athlete. And then secondly, let Jennings play to his strength. Dormady is more of the passer in this competition. Jennings much more of the runner. Let him go live and let him try to use his strength and his speed.
Here's a 3rd and 6 for Juwan Jennings. That live action gets him out to the 48-yard line before he is tackled. He's able to move the chains.
And you want to know what else? What can be the best thing to get a little jitters out and a little nerves out?
Take a hit.
Take a shot. They did the same to Dormady, actually, in practice 13. Butch said, I got to get my freshman ready to go here. And Dormady took some licks within the pocket. And here you see Jennings with just right there. Put the shoulder pads down. He knows where the sticks are, and he moves the chains.
So a first down with the true freshman early enrollee quarterback. He keeps this time and is taken down at the 49-yard line.
I think right now he is clearly chasing Dormady. As he spent some time and got the opportunity to meet with the coaching staff and Butch yesterday, Dobbs is by far and away the guy, the CEO, and he must stay healthy this year. But Jennings is chasing. You can see Sharon Jones in the fall as well, a 3rd quarterback, 3 on scholarship. All of them pushing to be that number 2 guy.
Jason Sparks with the carry to close out this first quarter of the orange and white game. We started with the circle of life. We saw the white team, the offense, come down the field. When we return, the wide receivers and the DBs go head-to-head, one-on-one. Stay with us. More to come from Neyland. Joe Brock and Maria with you. Glad you're with us for the Tennessee orange and white game. End of one quarter. And the white team representing the offense with a 17-9 lead. Josh Dobbs, starting quarterback, was 4 of 6 for 79 yards and 9 yards rushing in that first quarter. As for who he will have available to him with the receivers come this fall, if we were to project, this is what the depth chart would look like, with Pig Howard, who had 111 career catches in 3 seasons coming into this point. North is a great-looking athlete, as is Malone. We told you the circumstances with the suspended Von Pearson, but this is one of the units where they do have depth, Brian.
Yeah, this is a unit good enough to win the SEC East, if healthy. And that those last 2 words are critical. Josh Smith got beat up a year ago, missed the majority of the season with a lower leg injury. Jason Kroom tears the ACL in bowl preparations. So finding a way to get those guys in any capacity ready for August and into the regular season will be huge. They hope Malone can take a step this year. Was an enormous in-state recruit, 5-star recruit that he battled as a true freshman through groin and shoulder injuries. Feels better than he did at any point last season. So when healthy, that receiving crew is absolutely capable of helping this volunteer team win an SEC East championship.
See number 8 North there, and in the smoky gray jersey is Pig Howard there. He's a player that's really mature. Remember last year he was out of the program for disciplinary measures. Came back and had a strong season. He's really starting to take on more of a leadership role. They're going to stay the course here and continue on with this drive. As Jennings, a little low to the inside of Pig Howard that time.
We're seeing Pig a little bit more on the outside. He's a guy that has been highly versatile in his career, and actually 2 of his 3 touchdowns last year were on the ground. They've loved him in the slot, get the ball in his hands, get him into space, and that's one that Jennings knows he's got to find a way to complete. Pig gives him an opportunity on that little slant route, just can't connect.
Trevor Daniel will be punting away. Cameron Sutton goes back to field that. As Butch Jones is going to drive the ship here in this spring game and kind of see what he wants to do. If he feels players need a few more reps, a few more looks, he'll do that. But let's see what Butch decides to do here. He planned on having a wide receiver DB one-on-one session, but obviously you saw Jennings stay on the field for a moment, so there was the desire to get your young guy a few more snaps.
He's going to have to be a little bit flexible here because they will incorporate those one-on-one O-line, D-line throughout this afternoon. The one-on-one receiver, we already saw the circle of life drill, the real pad level drill, and another shot here for Dobbs and the #1 offense to get it going.
Dobbs at quarterback.
Dobbs and Kamara. And here is Jalen Hurd. And look at Hurd. Big, long, strong athlete with that great stride. He's been limited a bit in spring. Trying to keep him healthy, not take so many hits.
Jalen's tired of everybody saying the Kamara can run and forgetting about him and some of his elusiveness, which is unique for a man that's 6'3" and 230 pounds.
Started 9 games last year. The vertical release here as he was trying to connect with Josh Smith as the flag is down.
Coverage by Foreman, flag on the play.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. 10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Big start to this drive from Jalen Hurd. A man who rushed for 100 yards 4 times last year.
1,400. That had been the number that they, as a staff, felt like he could have gotten to last year had he not missed really 2.5 games, as he, like so many freshmen, fight through injuries. You love talented freshmen to come into your program, Joe, but by and large, the majority of them have no idea about the workload, no idea about the pounding you're going to take in this conference. He fought his way through it, but if healthy, there were even more yards for him, and he sure hopes to be healthy for this season.
Dobbs, as he reads it and gets it to the 21-yard line. Told you Hurd with the 100-yard rushing games, those 400-yarders by a true freshman. The most in Tennessee since Jamal Lewis had 7 back in 1997. Was a 4-star coming out, and he really delivered a year ago. He was also an early enrollee, like many of the freshmen we see here today. You get that jump into the system, Brock.
Just enormous, just for your comfort level, for being able then to hit the ground running in training camp. And that's really how Butch is set up this spring. I asked him yesterday just his approach, and he said, I really want these freshmen, all the kids that came in early this season as well, to get a feel for what July and August is going to be like. And man, they grinded pretty hard this month of April.
Had an encroachment call there, so it's first down and 5. Dobbs looking to the end zone there. You know, we've seen Kamara already today, and now an extended look at Hurd. But the name you need to know down the road is John Kelly, an incoming freshman from Detroit. And based on who they have underneath Hurd and Kamara right now, Kelly has a chance to be the number 3 right away.
He has to. He's got to know that coming in, and even though he's not an early enrollee, he's got to watch this game. I'm sure staying as plugged in as possible, knowing that 3rd spot is definitely open and available.
That's a good example of just that patient stride by Jalen Hurd as he's able to almost glide to the corner.
You know, he has said he wants to play this fall at 240, Had you been doing the squats and benches with me yesterday with Coach Lawson, the strength and conditioning coach, you would have heard a little different story. He said ideally he'd like Jalen around 230, 240 is an awful lot of size.
How you feeling today, Brock?
A little sore, yeah,
a little sore,
but it was well worth it. And Jalen was a little sore last season. He wants to weigh 240, maybe down the road as a senior. But about 230, 232, a phenomenal athlete, works really hard in that weight room, and that shoulder that bothered him in high school, that's what he had cleaned up and what's limited him a little bit this spring.
Second down, pass to the end zone, and that was off the pads of Pig Howard. And
sack.
What are they calling that back at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I think Butch stepped in.
Excuse me, Jonathan Johnson was the receiver there. Butch stepped in, though, and a whistle blew dead back at the 14-yard line.
And 43 of these puppies last year, worst in the SEC, and that would have been a sack.
So it bounces off the pads of Howard and into the arms of Johnson, but they're calling it a sack back at the 14-yard line. So it's third down there. Dobbs again. And this time it goes right into the midst of Ethan Wolf for a touchdown.
And that's a nice catch and a distraction drill, and that's one of the advantages offenses have, because this is an enormous blow in the fall. And this is a teammate helping a teammate, and you could see there just a little bit, just enough at the end of that reception. I believe that's Todd Kelly, the safety, and that's going to be a knockout shot in the fall, but he knows his sophomore buddy Wolf put himself in position to finish and make the play, and he does just that, and Kelly's a good pro. He's even a very young guy, knowing not to tee off on one of the difference makers on that Tennessee offense.
George Bullock this time with the extra point.
When I looked at Josh Dobbs over the end of the season, there are a couple things that stand out. Number one, his level of anticipation grew with experience, and that's a very natural progression for a quarterback. Look how early the ball's out of his hand. This is a big third down after some stall drives against Vanderbilt, 3rd and 10. And before that receiver's out of break, the ball is right on top of him. And the more he plays, the more confident he will be in that skill set, that anticipation. Now, this one comes natural. This zone read and just the length and the athleticism that Josh has, he's very comfortable riding that mesh point. Look how long he holds on to the ball. And this defensive end in prime position. But Dobbs, the magician back there in that zone read, one of the real strengths for him to build upon this season. But I will say this, first down, touchdown, get down. He must stay healthy. If they're going to realize this hype and the expectations that people have put on them this offseason, keeping number 11 healthy and upright for 12 starts in the regular season, critically important.
Starting off on the wide receiver DB one-on-ones. Let's check in with Maria.
And Coach Jones talked a lot about the way Josh Dobbs has improved over the spring. He says he's showing a lot more poise and confidence. Also the aggression with his footwork and throwing. And his personality, guys, it's really amping up, becoming more of that vocal leader, something he's been working on all spring.
Yeah, you can hear it in him. As he has put forth that CEO quarterback play time and time again. Coverage that time from Malik Foreman on Josh Malone.
Sure was. A little one-on-one here in the red zone. This gives the DBs a little bit more opportunity. They got that extra defender right on the boundary. The field shortens up in the red zone. A chance for some of the DBs here to be physical. And so far, 2-0 for those guys on that side.
There's Jonathan Johnson. There's Evan Berry. Slant. Berry was able to get that left arm in front. Swafford and Smith now.
And Berry's had a really good spring. He and Kelly they know they've got 2 seniors in front of them, McNeil and Randolph. It'll be hard to find in the field in fall. But an excellent spring for the youngster Berry.
Swafford defending on the fade there.
See the eyes? Never lose his sight. Those defensive backs, you cannot panic. You've got to have a feel for where the receiver is. Your eyes back to the backfield, giving you a chance to knock it away.
Ethan Wolf and Todd Kelly. That ball was thrown to the inside. Too easy for Todd Kelly.
Defense making up some ground in the scoring column here. 5-0 for those guys in orange. I think all the quarterbacks got to give their guys a little better opportunity here. You're throwing that fade ball, and you've got size advantages, a little bit more touch and air.
Here's Pig Howard against Sutton. Well, outside release, or a tug on the jersey there in the back, Brock.
Yeah, but a double move, and he doesn't bite for any of it. Look at him. He's looking right in the chest plate. And sure, there's a little grab. Sutton's going to be one of the good ones in the SEC. Started 25 consecutive. He's going to be one of the real dominant corners this fall.
Josh Malone couldn't haul it in as Mosley had to recover.
See Coach Martinez back there. Secondary coach. He's liking all of that. That's not one touchdown. Not 1 point for the offense in that drill.
24-18. Orange team defense doing their job. Foreman up against Malone. Joe Tessitore, Brock Ewart, Maria Taylor here in Knoxville. That's the orange team. That's the defense in the individual drills. We just saw DBs against wide receivers. Picked up all 6 points. So they trail now only by 6 as we're seeing Quentin Dormady, true freshman from Texas. You see what he did with his father Mike's team. Played for his dad. Nearly 6,000 passing yards and 59 touchdowns in just 2 varsity high school seasons. First down throw here. Little go route as he connects with Josh Malone.
Can't throw it any better than that. And while the fade drill may be advantageous to the DBs down in the end zone, which we just got done watching, it's wholly different when you're out in the middle of the field. And just tremendous touch. Good job with the eyes right away. He knows he's got a one-on-one and where he wants to go, and you can't place it better than that. On the outside shoulder, allows Malone to keep his stride. And that has to feel awfully good for the true freshman. That's on Devin Williams there, the corner that doesn't turn, doesn't find the ball. And this is what Malone's got to do a little bit more of this year. 1 touchdown last year. Some of the explosiveness was limited due to some groin and shoulder injuries, some aches and pains of freshmen. But I know the offensive side loves to see the big explosive plays, and that's exactly what Jancik's trying to limit defensively.
Sure, the fans are happy to see Dormady show something, because he may be the best option behind Joshua Dobbs, who could really be one of the breakout players in college football this year.
He's got to find a way to stay on this field and know how to protect his body, but buying a little bit of time, keeping the eyes downfield. The big play earlier to Johnson, the inside screen right on the money. And then he and Pig have done this for 3 years now, both on the practice field, going to have ample opportunity in the regular season. And you love to see Ethan Wolf, the big tight end, multitude of weapons. That's what you see at Tennessee. Now, that's how they finished strong under his leadership last year, going 4-1 down the stretch, spreading the football around, playing fast. A very smart, cerebral kid. He knows this system inside and out. And they're only going to be able to add to that, I think, this fall, especially with maybe his greatest strength, Joe, which is from the shoulder pads up. One of the smartest quarterbacks you're going to find.
Yeah, I remember Butch very early on in coaching Joshua Dobbs. He said to us at one point, he's the kind of player that you only have to tell him something once. Very, very coachable. Aeronautical engineering major, wants to design and build airplanes.
Brightest quarterback I was ever around was the guy that was in the open of this show.
Peyton Manning.
He wore 16 here. He's done 18 in the pros. He's going to shatter, I think, basically every record in the history of the NFL if he can stay healthy this season. But Peyton was so stinking smart. His ability to absorb a massive amount of information, to retain it, and then, most importantly, to spit it out. You can be a really bright guy. You can be tremendous in the classroom, but your ability to retain information in the heat of the moment, spit it out, and play fast, that's also a skill set and strength of Dobbs.
You know, Peyton was sitting here pregame down in the end zone to our right with Butch Jones, and I can only imagine what it was like for those 4 quarterbacks to be taking their pregame warm-up reps about 10 feet away from Peyton.
Yeah, pretty cool. There's no doubt. And what did I say to you when you pointed that out? Throw it as hard as you can.
Right, exactly. Show him the arm.
Throw the fastball.
Here's a double reverse that's knocked away, and it's going to be returned by Cameron Sutton. Oh, the trickery turns into points for the Orange team defense.
And everything's been pretty vanilla for Mike DeBoer, but a chance here with some of his veterans to run a double reverse, and the danger in those pitches is just like that. the risk reward, especially in your end of the field, often not great. Sutton never gives up on it. He's in man coverage. You can see him chasing the play the entire way. And finally, the defense gets a big play on their side, and it's going to even that score right up.
And how about the athleticism of Sutton to be tracking a player, reach out his hand and swipe away, stay with the ball, and get the return for the touchdown.
25 consecutive starts. That's what it does when he came in as a true freshman.
Guess who Maria's with? Take it away, Maria.
I'm joined now by Peyton Manning. Everyone's been trying to get a piece of you. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us, but you are here celebrating the Peyton Manning Scholarship Award, which is in its 18th year, and you continue to give gifts to it. Why is that such an important endeavor to you?
Well, obviously, Tennessee has been a huge part of my life, and so the scholarship program has been a great way for me to continue to be a part of the university, kind of away from football. So we were glad to announce a gift to enhance the scholarship program. We're going to be able to give more scholarships to more students and also to support the football program. I'm excited about Coach Jones and the direction of the football program. So this is a special place, and it's always been a big part of my life.
You know, we got to see Tennessee do well to end the season last year. What have your conversations with Butch Jones been like as he's continuing to rebuild this program?
Well, it's an exciting time. I think winning a bowl game for a young football team is important. You know, it kind of gives you a little bounce in your step during spring and into the summer program. So we really dominated Iowa in that bowl game, and I think you can build off of that. And you know, it's an exciting time for recruits to be a part of Tennessee football, and I think this team's excited about the upcoming season.
I'm sure the quarterbacks are excited when they look behind them and they see Peyton Manning watching them warm up. What have you noticed about this group of quarterbacks?
Well, all of them are hard working. I actually get to come back in June and get to work out with them every year, which I still enjoy. And I think it was Dobbs last year who told me he wasn't even born when I was at Tennessee. I really appreciated him sharing that with me. But makes me sort of dates me a little bit. But yeah, they're all working hard, and you know, I think for a young quarterback like James to win a bowl game, it means a lot. And I know that kind of helps establish his leadership platform, and the players can believe in him. So I'm excited about watching him play this season as well.
What specifically have you noticed about his game at the quarterback position that got better as the season went on?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm the right guy to ask. You know, I'm not. I watch the Vols every Saturday when I can, but I'm trying to study the Broncos game plan. But I think experience is still your best teacher, and playing as a young player myself in the SEC, just the experience, it helps your confidence. And so for him to have come on at the end of the season and win some games and win the bowl game, it's going to build his confidence, and it'll just play a big role in how he approaches this season.
You know, to a lot of fans in this stadium, some of the best years of Tennessee football were the ones where you were quarterbacking. When you look back on your career, what stands out the most?
Well, great memories. It's been fun standing on the sidelines, getting to visit with a lot of guys that I played with and, of course, played against in the NFL, talking to old Sean Ellis, you know, great defensive end for the Jets, and he was a teammate of mine. So, you know, it's still a relationship, you know, business, and it's very much a family, Tennessee family. And I had breakfast with Coach Fulmer this morning, so those are all, you know, special times for me. So you always just get a good feeling when you're back here on this campus, and it's just got great history and tradition, and I was proud to be a part of it. But like I said, it still continues to be a part of my life, and it's very special to me.
You know, our guy Brock Heward's up there in the booth. You got anything to say?
I saw Brock. I tell you, I watched Brock Saturday. I'm kind of analyzing him as well. He's sharp though. He's smooth, and Brock was a great friend and a great teammate to me during our time together in Indianapolis, and he was always very bright, and he certainly explains college football, I think, in a way that fans can understand it. So I enjoy listening to him. But he looks good. His hair is perfect always. You know, never sweats, you know, and it's great to see him. So, Brock, good to see you, pal.
I don't think we could get any better than that. You just made his day. Thanks so much for your time, Peyton.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, when you shared the quarterback meeting room together, you know there's going to be a little poke in the ribs every so often, but what Peyton means to this program, he just wrote a check for $3 million yesterday, not just to the football program, but to the Honor Society Scholarship Fund, try to give opportunity for education to others here.
You know what's funny, Joe, is way back when, this would have been 1996, 97, I get a call at my house in the summer. I get a call, and my landlord said, oh, yeah, you got a message here from Peyton Manning. I'm like, Peyton Manning, quarterback at Tennessee, Peyton Manning. And so I called Peyton back, and I was like, hey, you know, what's going on, Peyton? He's like, oh, just checking in. You know, I want to talk a little football with you. And that guy just eats and breathes and loves football. And as an alumnus, boy, you couldn't have a better one than what the University of Tennessee has in him.
Well, Peyton would appreciate this. When we come back, it's going to be the quarterback challenge. The Peyton Manning room, not far away from the checkerboard end zone here at Neyland. We're in the midst of the quarterback challenge here at the orange and white game with head coach Butch Jones doing the MC work.
And this is an absolute blast.
2 points.
Absolute blast for a quarterback here, trying to hit in the targets.
Devin Smith, redshirt freshman walk-on from right here in Knoxville, is up next. We'll throw at a stationary target to get things going.
1 point.
Gets a point for hitting the net.
Oh, you got to move that a little faster.
Now the moving target out there at the 40-yard line. Smith was off. And now the sprint out as you try to hit that 50 on top of the pylon.
I think Butch likes the mic, Joe.
And here's the crossbar challenge. Of course, every quarterback loves doing the crossbar challenge in warm-ups. And the bucket in the corner.
2 points.
So 2 points for Devin Smith. Look at that look on Butch's face.
Next up, Quentin Dormady.
He very much enjoys this role.
You know, I've done this drill, but not in front of whatever we've got today. 50, 60,000 people all watching just you try to hit the targets.
Here's Quentin Dormady, who impressed us with a 65-yard touchdown pass earlier. Good job on the moving target that time. And now the moving target deeper. And he hits that as well. Dormady's showing a little something today, isn't he, Brock?
Yeah, he is the most advanced passer, and I don't think there's really any debate about that with Jennings, and even when Jones comes in, and you can see Butch mixing it up. Yep.
Uh-oh, Dobbs, he says. He wants the pressure on his starter.
Wow.
And that'll add to the pressure. Another point for Quentin Dormady, the true freshman, early and rolling.
Hit the crossbar.
Just off, and now he'll have that fade throw over the barrier to the buckets. Not a bad look at it, I'll tell you.
7 points for Quentin.
So 7 points for Quentin Dormady.
You heard him saying Dobbs. Here you go. Here goes the.
He said, uh-oh, Dobbs.
Yep. Got a little Gruden flair to him, doesn't he? Mixing it up a little bit with his QB.
He wants to be announced, Josh Dobbs.
Here's Josh Dobbs. The quarterback from Alpharetta, Georgia.
1 point.
Moving target now.
1 point.
25-yard deep moving target now.
1 point. 3 points.
So Dobbs has 3 points. Remember, Dormady had 7.
3 things: stay in nice athletic position while throwing it, finishing those throws, and getting that lead foot into the target. Those are 3 fundamentals he's been working on.
Grabbed another point just skimming the barrier. Now the crossbar. Just missed, and here comes the corner of the end zone with the buckets.
We need everybody to stand up and let's hear ya.
Okay, the key to this one is a little bit of error on the ball, and you've got to give yourself a chance. Everybody else has overthrown this. A little touch, put in the bucket.
Oh, nice job, though. Gets the bucket. So he gets the points for hitting the bucket, no matter if it goes in. That was well placed with Dobbs.
That's awesome. Nice athletic position. A good spiral, excellent touch, and nearly in the bucket.
So Dobbs finishes the first half of the orange and white game 5 of 7, 94 yards, the touchdown pass, and then comes out knowing he has a mark to beat in the quarterback challenge and does so on his final pass. I think that was a real confidence boosting first half for both quarterbacks here in this first half. Maria.
I've got MC Butch Jones. He's off the 1s and 2s for a little bit. I'm going to hold the mic now, okay? We just saw the quarterback challenge. What is the purpose of that, the skill show for these fans?
Well, it's all about competition and putting them in a competitive environment. All individuals did a great job and just continue to create live game repetitions.
You know, I was on the defensive side for a while. They keep saying that you're cheating with the two-hand touch. I just want to know your response to that.
Well, they always think they have a tackle for loss or a sack, and they're supposed to yell out sack if they think they have it. But from an offensive standpoint, we're lunging too much.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So Dobbs had a touchdown pass. Quentin Normandy had a 65-yard touchdown pass. And Jawan Jennings, the other true freshman. How about a 45-yard touchdown run as the orange team trails the white. The offense on top, 41-31.
Welcome to the SEC Halftime Report. I'm Peter Burns. No, the score, don't worry, it's correct. White team leads the orange team 41-31. It's actually a low-scoring affair last year. Final score 129 white to 100 orange. Coach Jones likes to mix it up a little bit. We had a chance to wire him up on our spring practice trip down to Knoxville. Take a look.
Get to play football today. Little Rocky Top. Playing football in Rocky Top. Three's got to keep up with us today. We play at different speed levels. What's the down and distance? See the down and distance. Habits. Habits. Good setup. Work your feet. Work your feet. Come on, we got to make the routine throw. Close your shoulders. Feet, feet, feet. Relentless. You asked, what can you do to get better? Relentless. That's the way you played in high school. You were on the edge on every single snap. That's what we want. Play on the edge. Stay low, though. You're standing straight up. They know a game's coming. Come on, Compton. Come on, Compton. Stay low, rip. That's better. Stay low and rip. Patience, patience, patience. Good. Put away. That's better, Josh. 198, 198. Too slow. Can tell already. Come on, man. Come on, man. Rhythm, 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 rhythm. Step, one snap, punt. Get it. Step, punt. Good job. Stay right there. Stay right there before we go three-man weave. I want my boy out here. We're coming after you all day. All day, wearing you out, all day. Heads up, heads up. I told you we're coming. We're coming. Give me Malone and Foreman. Give me Malone and Foreman. We're coming all day. Give me Chance Hall and Tuttle. Chance Hall and Tuttle. Come on, Shy. Come off the ball. Give me another one, Coach. Give me another one. Stay square. Stay square. In the end zone, three-man weave. In the end zone, three-man weave on the bounce. Take control, Dobbs. Come on, Dobbs. CEO, Dobbs, let's go. Work your habits. Keep your leverage. It's all about habits. Finish. Great ones finish.
Back here at Neyland Stadium for the Tennessee orange and white spring game. The offense leads 41-31 here at the half. Back on April 13th, Tennessee held their 9th annual Volscar Awards, where volunteer athletes and coaches from all sports received their year-end awards. Tony Barnhart and Peter Burns with more.
Well, it's not often when we have to suit up when visiting some of the campuses around the SEC, but this is a little bit different. It's not the Academy Awards. It's not the Grammys or the Tonys. It's the Volscars.
Yes, sir. It is the Volscars, and we're here tonight to enjoy a time when all the Tennessee athletes are celebrated and all the Tennessee teams are honored. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it.
Also looking forward to seeing Kurt Magid. We've put him to work. He's not working the red carpet. He's going to be working the orange carpet for us.
It's an interview on the orange carpet. It's the Volscar Awards 2015.
Hey guys, thanks for having me at the 9th annual Volscars Award. I'm excited to be here and looking forward to a great night. Got a lot of people in the house and got our quarterback, Josh Dobbs.
What's up, Kurt?
How you doing, Joshua?
Great. How are you?
How's the night going so far? You excited for anything?
Yeah, I'm just excited to see everyone out here. You know, there's some nice-looking girls here, and everyone on the team looks good.
Let's talk about this shirt. I'm liking it. I'm digging it.
You like the shirt?
Yeah,
I got a couple compliments today. The little Hawaiian shirt guy, you know, mix it up.
Yeah, we're looking forward to a great night. We got a lot of people here, a lot of wonderful outfits. All right, now we're here with the man of the hour, athletic director, Mr. Dave Hart. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Kurt. I love this night. You know that.
What are you looking forward to most tonight?
Well, the fact that the student athletes, put this whole thing together.
Yes, sir.
So we never know what to expect till we get here. But that's one of the creative genius coming out in our student athletes tonight. Great night, though. A lot of fun, and it's a night for you.
Kurt?
Yeah.
I love you as a football player, but you're fired as the host.
All right.
Take that, and I'll let you go enjoy.
All right, you got some high standards to live up to.
I'm going to try my best. Now, there's been a lot of individuals that have talked about being the best dressed, but I think you win the award tonight. Coach Warlick from the Lady Vols, and first of all, congratulations on a great, great season.
You've got a second job.
Well, I don't want to have my second job. I like my first job too, but again, you look great tonight.
Oh well, you're too kind. I wore this just for you, You're doing a great job too.
Hopefully, you can wear that to the spring game too.
We're here tonight to recognize the accomplishments of our student athletes and to name the winners of some very prestigious awards.
We're here with Josh Dobbs, the quarterback of the University of Tennessee football team. They just won Comeback of the Year. So, Josh, can you tell me just what this means to you and your teammates?
It means a lot. We try to represent the Vols well every time we step on the field. So, I want to thank, obviously, Sack and everyone for the award. And we'll continue to represent the Vols well. But I'm very thankful for the award. Hopefully, we won't have too many tremendous comebacks. We'll just win it for overtime.
Well, it was a night full of awards, and I'm not saying I got caught up in it. Neither do you. We're professionals here. But when it comes down to it, there are people that are buying into this Vols program for next year. Why should they be?
Well, one of the reasons is one of the awards they got tonight was for the comeback of the year and their 14-point comeback against South Carolina, a big win that absolutely turned this program around. They want to see a lot more wins like this, and that's why people are excited, and that's why you got on that orange jacket.
And that's why it's nice to work with a straight-laced professional like yourself, Tom.
That's me. Thank you very much.
Great work by Tony and Peter there. Yeah, they didn't get caught up in it. You know who got caught up in the things? Those Mike DeBoer, the offensive coordinator. Brock, I think he's got a lot to be pleased with after watching the first half here of the spring game. I think the quarterbacks were as advertised.
Yeah, I think so, and I caught up with him at halftime. He's in the booth right next to us, in fact, and every one of his young players, I think, showed their strengths and showed some of their talents and lots of big plays. That was, I think, the difference why the offense has the lead here, their ability to make the big plays down the field, and Dobbs started it. And it was early in the drive, and it was Pig Howard down the field, and those two have been doing it for a number of years here on campus. And with that experience, you should thrive in a situation, a scrimmage situation like this, the touchdown pass to Ethan Wolf, and this has to be fun. A kid that should be getting ready and will be getting ready for his high school graduation, and Quentin Dormady throwing just a perfect seed to Josh Malone down the field for a touchdown, and one of the rare big plays from the defense. Cameron Sutton there reading it all the way in man coverage. He sees the double reverse and shows off his speed. And speaking of it, Juwan Jennings has ample athleticism. I don't know if he's going to see the field or that will see the field this year. He's chasing Dormady, but nice for him to see Dormady's strength with his arm, Jennings' strength with his speed.
Juwan Jennings with a 45-yard touchdown run. Dormady, the 65-yard touchdown pass, and also looked good in the quarterback challenge. But Josh Dobbs, 94 yards, touchdown on 5 of 7 passing. He's expected to be one of the premier quarterbacks in the SEC. He's already showing you that level of execution and how he can put forth under a new offensive coordinator.
Well, what's great for Tennessee, and I think why these fans are so excited, is because look around that division. You've got Georgia, who is a very talented roster, probably a deeper roster right now and more experience, but not a quarterback. Florida's got a whole new system that Jim McElwain's trying to bring. He doesn't know who his quarterback is. And for the first time in 3 years, Butch has no problems. He's sleeping well at night. He knows who the CEO of his program is. And Josh Dobbs doing everything today that he's done all spring to just nothing but further, I think, some of that excitement in the building.
Butch Jones has had a lot of fun today. You saw him emceeing some of the individual drills, and now they're ready for their spring football awards down on the field.
Year's winner from Nashville, Tennessee and Montgomery Bell Academy is Ja'Shawn Robertson.
Ja'Shawn Robinson, who's projected to be starting right guard this year, sophomore who really blossomed a year ago.
And that's the most improved offensive player of the spring. Big, powerful man. The only guy on that offensive line to play every game at the same position. Actually getting a little work at center as well, but you're looking at a key cog in the middle of the line for years to come.
The Andy Spiva Award, given to the spring most improved defensive player, is named in honor of the former Vol linebacker. This year's winner from Spring Hill, Tennessee and Independence High School is Rayshawn Golden.
Physical. He's out, not playing today because of a hand injury. One of the rare guys that got hurt during the spring, but he'll be the nickelback, I would believe, come week 1 next fall.
The John Stuckey Iron Volunteer Award is presented to the players that demonstrate the best physical and mental condition during the off-season program. This year's winners are from Kingsport, Tennessee and Dobbins-Bennett High School, Malik Foreman. From Nashville, Tennessee and Montgomery Bell Academy, Ja'Shawn Robertson. From Havelock, North Carolina and Havelock High School, Kendall Vickers.
Those are the guys getting it done in the weight room. Vickers right there, 39. How about a 700-plus pound squat?
Wow.
605 for 6 reps.
He's getting extended time with all the injuries on the defensive line. Owen Williams, Danny O'Brien, who will man things in the middle.
And for the Tennessee Football Spring 63 Award, this year's winner from Friendsville, Texas and Friendswood High School is Jonathan Johnson.
Jonathan Johnson had a nice first half, 2 catches for 47 yards.
And the 63 award, all about that 6 seconds of effort. That's an effort award, and you're right, Johnson, a nice day today and an excellent spring.
Leadership Award, given to the spring's most influential leader, is named in honor of the former Vol All-American, first-round draft pick, and NFL All-Pro, whose leadership helped his teams reach and win the SEC and national championship. This year's winner from Jonesboro, Georgia and Jonesboro High School is Cam Sutton.
Cam Sutton was 3rd in the SEC last year in passes defended, and saw that 20-yard touchdown return he had, breaking up the double reverse.
And the Peyton Manning Leadership Award is named in honor of the former Vol All-American, first overall draft pick, NFL MVP, Super Bowl champion, and Ring of Honor member. He's considered one of the greatest leaders of all time in the game of football, both on the collegiate and professional levels. This year's winner from Alpharetta, Georgia and Alpharetta High School is Joshua Dobbs.
And it's well deserved, and if things stay the course, he's going to have many more awards to pick up. You know, it's interesting to think What
Fans
would
at
have
this
been
time, we would
had
like to
Josh Dobbs
recognize members
never
of
gotten
Team
the opportunity a
119
year
who
ago?
participated in 100% of spring practice.
I understand where you're going with that, Joe.
Dobbs, Dormady, and Jennings.
But I think the challenge was that offensive line Butch and this team knew was going to be so green. And really both sides of the line. They were the only school in America last year that did not return one starter on the offense or defensive line. And he wanted to look over the long term and knew that his best shot, I think, for continuing to build and develop this program would be to redshirt Josh Dobbs, to put the veteran last year, Justin Worley, behind that line, hopefully get the ball out of his hands and protect himself. That didn't happen. And ultimately, talent wins out. Dobbs made a difference on this field against Alabama and then really took off from there, winning 4 or 5. And today's taken off. And this should be of no surprise, going against largely the #2 defense. Nice job spreading the football around. I like to see the finish on those throws. That will be the point of emphasis the rest of this summer. Continue to do the little things with your fundamentals. Stay compact, finish your throws, because if he can add that level of accuracy that typically comes with more refined fundamentals to his elusiveness and his athleticism, he's got a chance to be a really, really good one in this conference. You know what leg up it gives you when you have that position solidified and stable. South Carolina doesn't. Georgia doesn't. Florida doesn't. Many of those other powers on that SEC East side don't. Kentucky does. But Dobbs, I think, really providing some hope, because when that settles down, it usually settles down the rest of the team.
Told you the skinny on Dobbs is he's incredibly coachable, good leader, and he's worked well already with his new offensive coordinator, Mike DeBoer. Run the ball to get things started. Kamara there gets going. Here's Dobbs on the board.
Coach Mike DeBoer, from the day I met him when he came in on his interview, I mean, you could see the man has a passion for football and the man knows a lot about football. Obviously, his history shows that. I mean, he's been in countless stops and has had a lot of success in his history. And, I mean, once you start talking ball with him and get into the X's and O's, I mean, you can tell that I really think he brings another dynamic to our offense. I mean, we can already see it in the spring. I mean, he has a lot of knowledge, and he's been around the coaching staff, so it wasn't a big transition. It was a guy who knows our coaching staff, knows our head coach, knows the system we were running. So we took steps forward instead of taking steps back to learn a new system. So Coach DeBoer really knows a lot about the game. He's really bringing another dynamic to this team.
You know, Brock, most of the time when you have a new offensive coordinator, you think that the offense is going to take a lot of time to get on the page. But it was really Mike DeBoer coming into the fold here and getting in step with this staff and this system that's been a different in that situation.
Yeah, and what would you rather have? Would you rather have 50 guys learning a whole new language and a whole new system, or one guy? And one guy at 59 that's been around numerous different organizations, spent the last 5 years before his stop at Michigan in the NFL, was at Michigan for many years, and in fact was a coordinator on their national title team with Brian Griese. I think a tremendous benefit, as Butch told us yesterday, when he made this move, he wanted a guy that could command the room and be an expert on all positions. And for Mike DeBoer, that background in the NFL, in numerous programs, calling the shots himself, putting the headsets on and calling those plays in big pressure moments, and in 3 consecutive Rose Bowls when he was a play caller. Yeah, to me, it was a no-brainer when all the pieces came together to slide him into this spot.
You know, at Michigan, you mentioned coaching Brian Griese. Tom Brady, of course, was there during those years. Chad Henne, a lot of success at Michigan back in the late 90s.
And I think you and I both, and I'll raise my hand, I think the perception with this hire was, wow, you're going to hire somebody that's been kind of out of football the last couple years. And at 59, well, maybe this is his last stop. And that couldn't be further from the truth when you were in here yesterday and talking to Butch and talking to Mike, is that this was really the perfect fit, the perfect opportunity that he was seeking in a relationship business. He knew and has stayed in touch with Butch, and is a really good fit with a guy that's so energized to take this thing over offensively.
Juwan Jennings is taken down right away that time by Colton Jumper. You know, an interesting point, too, is that you're not going to see a lot in a spring game. You're not going to open up everything and give opposing rival defensive coordinators time to spend the summer working on it. So in terms of a goal for today, DeBoer said, listen, we're going to be a little limited here, but I at least want us to be effective. I want to compete. I want to throw and catch on time and protect the football. And I think you saw plenty of that execution and effectiveness so far today.
Yes, you did. And minus Marquez North, maybe one of your bigger weapons, really minus Jalen Hurd. And And I think two areas, if Tennessee fans are watching this game and trying to look at this offense, this is the base level, but third downs, keep an eye on him this fall. He's going to be very innovative and creative on that down and really utilizing the people on the perimeter. We've seen very little of that in the run game. Going to see more and more of that this fall.
Jennings pressured and taken down at the 24-yard line that time as Andrew Butcher getting after him.
Defense, a couple good series here and opportunities to put some points on the board for them. Anytime they get a stop, if you're wondering where the scores come from, they get that stop, a 3 and out in a situation like that, and a sack. Chance to close the gap.
As the orange team, the defense, has closed the gap against the white team, the offense, led today by their junior quarterback, Joshua Dobbs.
Not only able to keep plays alive, but make teams pay with his legs.
That's a touchdown pass for Joshua Dobbs. Looking, firing, completing. Touchdown, Tennessee. Astro Dobbs, Space Dobbs, Major Dobbs, it doesn't matter.
Touchdown Dobbs. That's what they're looking at now more and more.
Defense closing in here in the Tennessee spring game. They are the orange team. 41-37 score right now in the third quarter. That's Derek Barnett. A year ago was one of the very best freshmen in all of college football. Brock set the Tennessee record for most tackles for loss and most sacks. He had 20.5 TFLs. He had 10 sacks as a true freshman, Brock.
Yeah, once you start climbing the ranks here, and that mark was 5th best all time at Tennessee, and they called him Boy Wonder in the month of August, and I think some of that was wondering if he could continue to do it through SEC play, and he sure did. I mean, just overwhelmed the record book here on everybody's All-American list, and you could just see it physically. He was different than the rest. And
now this is funny here because we're putting up the depth chart, the projected depth chart. Shy Tuttle's the only guy on that list right now who's actually playing in today's game because of all the injuries in the offseason. Khalil McKenzie is a much heralded prospect, an incoming freshman, Reggie McKenzie's son.
Yep.
He's another guy, Brock, that can step in as a true freshman and contribute right away.
And you got to have it in this conference.
Here's an inside screen that time to Pig Howard.
You want to look at who has consistently dominated and won. And when the SEC went on their streak of championship after championship after championship, it was done at the line of scrimmage. It was Alabama. It was Auburn in their run. Right, the great teams, tried and true through the decades in this brutal physical conference, have it on the defensive line. And going in last year, they were so thin. Going into last year, had no returning starters on that defensive line. And you saw a lot of depth develop, and this is a benefit. While it makes it difficult today on them, this is a real added benefit to get your depth, all of the opportunities this spring, and knowing the reinforcements are coming in August.
Dormady, as that was incomplete. Looking for Josh Smith. Defensive line working hard all spring long.
You know what I liked? I like what John Jancic had to say with some of these defensive linemen, Barnett, Majid, both battling shoulder injuries. You know, when they got to some of the drill work where they couldn't use their hands, guess what they did? Go down and work the bag drills with the linebackers. Go down there and get some extra running in. And John Jancic, and I asked Butch about that yesterday because you look at all of the notable players out. They weren't just sitting on the exercise bike hanging out with their baseball caps on. They were doing everything to get involved. And as Maria told us in the first half of play, it was really about the last 7 practices. They threw them in and said, man, we're going to energize this thing a little bit. You're going to be energy coaches. You're going to get your work and your reps in when you can. And I think we're going to get to some O-line, D-line stuff and really start to crank up some of the intensity too.
You know, Brock, what a difference a year makes. Last year, one of the most unique stats in college football was that Tennessee was the only major conference team to not return any experienced players on the O-line and D-line. And now you see the young players who took to the field last year really give them strength and depth and are very productive.
This is that O-line, D-line drill. So they all line up so you get your spots, and then you go one-on-one, man. And this is a difficult environment for offensive line. It should be a real advantage to the defense as they can tee off here. And that's Chris Weather getting a good rush on the true freshman, early enrollee Jack Jones, and getting underneath him in the pad level.
And there's Kendall Vickers against Chance Hall.
Another true freshman. Another early enrollee. It's not just the quarterbacks. You're looking at 2 linemen right there. First 2 reps. Both should be high school seniors.
Here's Shy Tuttle. As he was driving back Coleman Thomas, and you hear the reaction from the crowd as Shy Tuttle, a 5-star prospect who is far ahead of schedule in terms of what he's been able to do this spring.
Watch the burst. We need a little bit more out of Butcher there. He's a true freshman, early enrollee. 10 of them, 10 mid-year enrollees. And Kurt Magent trying to cheer on his guys. He likes what Tuttle has to see. Watch the pad level right off the ball. That's a critical element in this.
Troy Lewis, that time going up against Dontavius Blair.
Next group up, ball's in the middle of the field at the 35-yard line.
As the O-line, D-line one-on-one comes to an end, and they will place the ball back in play with this running clock here in the 3rd quarter at the 35-yard line. Or those individual drills, Butch is saying, are +1 to the winner. So the score we have right now is 44-41. And Butch just said quarterbacks live. So we will see Jawan Jennings, and he has run the ball well today, had a 45-yard touchdown run. And you made the point that that can serve him well, the young guy being out there with live fire coming at him.
I think in some ways when you are a runner first, and he's growing as a passer, but when you are a runner first, you kind of like that. Because 2 in touch, it's one thing for a pocket passer. It's a little different when you can do that and make people miss and avoid as Jennings can.
Butcher was finally able to get to Jawan Jennings. True freshman, was named the Tennessee High School Player of the Year. Has a sister who plays basketball at Kentucky. That's an all-SEC family right there.
I gotta be honest with you. When I think back to my high school senior year, I had the good fortune in Washington of redshirting almost 20 years ago now. It actually is 20 years ago.
Well, Peyton says the hair still looks great.
Well, that's fine.
So don't worry about a thing.
But I was redshirting in the fall, and I often thought, man, I have so far to go physically. I am so just physically immature compared to the grown men and the juniors and seniors. And then to rewind the clock like these guys are doing, and coming in January of their senior year, and to be thrown right in the fire. And as you see once again, that's the area of growth that Jennings has to make. It's a couple that he has bounced on some 3rd downs. But to try to put myself back in that position, I really can't. I can't imagine doing it. And one advantage for them, as it was for Jalen Hurd last year, as it was for a number of those freshmen to have this spring experience to springboard them into the success that they had as very young players.
Jalen Hurd, a player who benefited last year from coming in early. In terms of the line that he will have blocking in front of him this year, all the issues with experience a year ago. Now guys have gained some, including the senior Kyler Curbison from right here in Knoxville. Started all 13 games last year at 3 different positions. Now down there where it says key reserves, note Jack Jones. We saw how aggressive he was earlier. He's the true freshman who has impressed some and is most likely the future of the line. And also there's an incoming freshman, Drew Richmond, who was one of the top recruits in the country, Brock.
Yeah, this group, Joe, as I look at it, this will be the defining factor in whether they realize aspirations of winning the SEC East and the difference between a 7 or 8 win team or a 10+ win team. It's going to be the continued development of that group that is still very, very raw.
Dormady has had success with that earlier today, but this time Josh Malone was unable to bring it in.
Wide receivers, I think good enough with the Malone. Good enough in this conference and in this division to win. Running backs, good enough. Quarterback, good enough. Offensive line, still some work to do, and that ball just about a foot short. On the touchdown pass to Malone earlier, up outside over the shoulder. You see it as Zach Kazani there, the receiver coach, telling Malone he'd like to see him go and try to high point that one.
Welcome back to the orange and white game. I'm on the sidelines with the defense. They've got me calling plays, and so far, we've had a 3-and-out every time I've called it, but they're keeping it simple for me. Coach Jancek, what have you seen from your defense so far?
A really good play caller in the second half here. He's not live.
The quarterback just got away from us. They just got away from us.
Maria, you're really sending in the signals here from John Jancek to his defense?
I'll send it back to you. I gotta focus.
We're going to watch some of this, Brock, as Maria is side by side with defensive coordinator John Jancek.
She's got the headset on.
She loves it. Jason Sparks with a run past midfield.
Better be careful standing next to Jancek, though. He's going to start yelling at his defensive guys. And you could hear him yell weather there. That's that edge player in some of that zone read. And nice little run there by the walk-on Jason Sparks.
See John Jancek. His son Zach's going to be coming here next year as a walk-on quarterback. Just finished up his career at Knoxville Catholic. Had his prom last night. Coach Jancek was heading over to see the pictures being taken before the prom.
He's done a really good job, and I don't think the stats tell the whole story, but just the sense of belief they have defensively compared to where they were just 2 years ago. I mean, over 100 yards difference, over a touchdown difference per game in both of those statistical areas. Excellent on third down.
Wait, he's got Rick Barnes on one side of him and Maria Taylor on the other.
Does she get input? Is she getting her fingerprints on this thing too?
Here's Dormady. Near side, and that's just beyond Josh Malone.
3rd and 7, Maria, tell him to blitz. 3rd and 7, I don't want any zone coverage.
Maria, bring some pressure here, Maria.
3rd down for what?
What's he calling?
I'm not listening to you guys.
What's he calling here? What you got?
I was doing so good without you. My corners are about to press right here, all right?
Okay. Here we go, press coverage on the outside. Let's see if Maria brings pressure. Now they back off. Sprint out for Dormady.
Done.
And you get the stop, Maria. Congratulations.
Thank you
well
so
done
much.
by your
working
orange
on
team
it down
defense.
Here. Our fist goes up when we get a 3-and-out or when we get off the field.
There you go, 4th down.
SEC basketball, volleyball, MBA degree, and now co-defensive coordinator of the Tennessee Vols. Impressive resume for Maria Taylor.
As she said, I'm done with you guys. Okay, I had 3-and-outs all drive and all second half until you started bothering me. Getting off and winning on 3rd down. Something the defense
4th and 7 now
is doing here in the second half.
Let's see if Maria and Coach Barnes' defense can lock in. Quentin Dormady. And he forced that one as he was trying to get it to Josh Smith. And you see Coach Jancek loves that.
Well, what you did see there on those last couple snaps, in all seriousness, was some press man. And that's the one point of emphasis that Coach Jancek was talking to us about yesterday, is that this spring he's wanted to incorporate more man. He knows that Sutton can do it. He knows he's got one of the best SEC corners in Cameron Sutton. He can play man. He wants to see if Mosley can do it and Foreman can do it. They've been a heavy zone team. More man coverage expected next fall.
You know, a defensive stop earned them a point. And Maria Taylor has now led the orange defense to the lead here, 48-44. 4th quarter comeback for the defense.
SEC against Big Ten. In Iowa, it's been the 6-6 Tennessee Volunteers. Looking at the double pass here. Wide open downfield. Wharton, touchdown, Tennessee.
Dobbs, arching pass to the near left side pylon, and a catch is made by Pearson.
This one is cooked, glazed, and sliced, folks.
That was the Tax Slayer Bowl victory by Tennessee, their first bowl win since 2008. They scored in their first 4 possessions of that game. This is the slate ahead for 2015. Obviously, listen, when you play in this league, you know what you're in store for. When you're Tennessee, you have the permanent crossover of Alabama. This year, they're down on the road at T-Town. The Georgia game, October 10. When everybody thinks about the SEC East, you hear a lot of folks going with the uptick, the trendy pick of Tennessee. You have other folks talking about Georgia, and if they can find a serviceable quarterback, somebody to guide them, that's a big game. How do you see things for the Vols?
It's as good as it's going to get. I mean, you got 8 games in the state of Tennessee this year. You're going to open in Nashville, 7 other home games. You get Florida early as they're breaking in their quarterback, their new system. You get Georgia in your place with a new quarterback. Yeah, I think compared to years past and what it's going to look like moving forward, to have 7 at home, and just a lot of people would wish for that, and they're going to get that dream come true this fall.
Of course, Brock, non-conference, you get the back end, the return game of the home and home. with Alabama. Jawan Jennings in at quarterback here. Final 2.5 minutes. He's going to take a shot downfield, trying to find Malone as well. That Oklahoma game comes on September 12th. And you really don't know. There are so many games in the SEC that you have to see how some of these teams develop. Who does Florida have at quarterback? The Arkansas ground game can be so dangerous.
And obviously at Alabama will be brutal. And physically, where is your team at? When I look at this Tennessee group, I see 22 that can compete and win. When I look at that schedule, could win 10 games. But we know that it's not about 22. What's it going to look like through your depth? John Jancic told us yesterday he's going to play 25 guys defensively. He's going to have to do that throughout this season with the pace they play offensively to weather some of the storms, in this conference and with that schedule. So cultivating really, I guess, players 23 through 44, to me, will really determine whether or not they realize a SEC East championship, really for the first time in way too long in Tennessee.
Orange team gathering more points here. They now have a 10-point lead with Maria down there helping out with the defensive coaching.
And she just continues, doesn't she?
This has been a very good second half for the Orange team, for the defense, outscoring the White.
It's all me, guys.
Oh, we believe that, Maria.
Do you believe it or no?
You brought us back.
I brought you back. I'm eating steak. I'm eating steak with the winners.
Yeah.
Off of fine china as well. See Rick Barnes, the newly hired head basketball coach here.
I don't know why Reeves Maven's in there. Malone and Randolph.
This is tennis speed, is what they call it.
It's more competition. 20-yard little sprint. You win, you move up. You lose, you move down.
Malik Foreman taking that heat, the backup cornerback who's played well today. Had a pass defended in the one-on-one drills.
And pushing Emmanuel Mosley to be really that second corner behind the stud Sutton.
Devon Swafford.
That was Devon Swafford, one of the safeties, winning that heat. Had a pick six against Florida last year. Had a block punt against Georgia. Stephen Griffin winning that sprint.
You know what we're getting close to? We're getting close to the big boys running. It's one thing to watch all the skills.
They time them with a sundial after playing a spring game.
Waits, Bryant, Stockstill, Vinyl, Mixon, Bradshaw, Turner, and Butcher.
Tennis speed, he calls this portion here is Kendrick Turner, walk-on running back from Memphis, Tennessee, winning his sprint.
It's about as simple as competition gets. I mean, you see this at elementary school, right?
You know, there are so many coaches who just preach this day in and day out. Compete at anything, and you get payoff.
And this was something. This is something that Butch said they just kind of threw in. You know, just trying to find more in different, unique ways to keep it fresh. Let guys compete, and this thing just really taken off. Guys have enjoyed it.
You wanted Biggs? Let's see what Shy Tuttle in the middle of this looks like.
There's the diesel engines.
From Cleveland, Tennessee,
Austin Sanders. Sophomore left guard. 307 pounds racing his way down the field.
Who you got in this one? Who you got in
I'm
this
going to go
heat?
with Thomas Edwards, number 79, who weighs 322 pounds, if he can get out of that stance. I really like Dontavius Blair coming through there. That was really nice to see the effort given right through the offensive line. I'll tell you, Butch does a really nice job both being the MC and organizing and scripting the spring game, because he gives the fans moments of entertainment beyond the typical spring scrimmage where the coach simply hovering over the back of his offense.
And guess what, Joe? That's what his job is all through the spring and through the fall as well. Not just when 50,000 are watching, but that's the duty of these CEOs. We've talked CEOs a lot about Josh Dobbs, the quarterback. No, Butch is the CEO of this entire program. And to keep it lively, to keep it fun, to keep it competitive, and that edge, such an integral part of what he does, and did it in a big, big way at the end of last year as they found success for the real first time in this program here. And I think the success that many people are expecting this fall moving forward.
The defense is going to be eating off of fine china, Brock.
And they should. I mean, offensive guys are typically the more humble group anyway. You know, I'm sure that played a role. So you know what? Let's let the big fellas eat well.
Isn't it funny?
We're going to need them this fall.
That happened when Maria Taylor was down there on the sidelines with John Jancic, the defensive coordinator, in the second half, after we saw the offense move down the field with Josh Dobbs and Dormady with the big touchdown pass and Jawan Jennings, the third-string quarterback, with the touchdown run. They outscored the offense 23-3 in the second half here today.
A lot of big plays in that first half, and I bet that was the point of emphasis for Jancic in that defense at halftime, because really Dobbs, the 1, 2, and 3 quarterbacks all had their turn to make the big shots down the field. Pick Howard got it started. The touchdown to Ethan Wolf. You see the freshman, the youngster Dormady, get involved. Just a perfect fade throw. Can't do it any better than that. To Josh Malone for the touchdown. A lot of these big plays went away in the second half. Really, the lone bright spot in that first half was Cameron Sutton reading it, seeing it, and then finishing for their own touchdown. And then Jawan Jennings, the true freshman, rough day throwing it. I think to be expected.
Ended up being the leading rusher.
Sure did.
This helps, of course,
largely with that one run.
45-yard run. He had 58 yards in that touchdown. Dormady had 5 completions for 96 yards in the touchdown. Dobbs was 5 of 8, 94 yards in the touchdown. Obviously, depth at quarterback a concern when you have the young group behind Joshua Dobbs. He's in store for what should be a very exciting fall.
Yeah, I just got to see him stay healthy. And that's going to be that offensive line that has to keep him clean. The worst in the SEC last year with 43 sacks allowed. They've got to do a better job. Don Mahoney, the line coach, loves having Mike DeBoer here, who has got a wonderful background at the line of scrimmage. Keeping him clean, imperative for them to have success.
Do you worry a bit with Tennessee being the trendy pick and seeing clearly where the program's ascending to, the trajectory of this program, that the hype could be too far out in front of fans' expectations?
I think for this fall, especially, when you're still counting on true freshmen, when you're bringing up names of true freshmen that aren't even here, Drew Richmond, for example, an offensive tackle, or McKenzie, the defensive tackle, and you're hoping and expecting that they can play roles, you'll know your program is legitimately national title contenders when you're not talking about freshmen making huge impacts in the fall.
Maria's with Coach.
Coach, you know, the orange team, the defense, they got the win. I want to know what changed in the second half for them.
Well, it was an executive decision at halftime with Coach Barnes. Made a decision, and we brought in Mariah. And, yeah.
Who's Mariah?
I want to see. You tell everyone who Mariah is.
Maria Taylor.
I know, I wanted to see right now.
We're going to work on it.
No, I'm not giving you any credit for that. So I did that on purpose, just so you know.
Yeah.
You have bragging rights all the time if I call you by your name.
All I know is I'm eating steak off fine china. You know, Coach, we also saw some great play by your quarterbacks, new offensive coordinator up in the booth. How does it feel walking away from the spring?
Well, we needed some momentum. We still got to catch the ball better on the perimeter and do some things, but it is some great momentum in moving forward, and it is Maria Taylor, just so you know. I do know that. But, you know, some great momentum, but we have a lot of things to work on over the summer.
And what do you ultimately hope that these fans walk away with as they're waiting for the fall to start for Tennessee football?
Well, energy. We have a lot of positive things going on. It's going to be a lot of hard work. We're still a young football team, but we're making strides each and every day.
All right, well, if you need me during the fall, I can make the calls for you. Maria, whoever you need.
That's exactly right.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, she helped with the defense. 54-44. Orange, the defense, wins it. The Tennessee spring game presented by Regions Bank. For Brock, Maria, our entire SEC Network crew, I'm Joe Tessitore. So long from Knoxville.